Welcome, welcome. This is Gull Khan, your money mindset expert. And today we're talking about trust the process, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. Let's find out. Welcome, welcome. This is Gull Khan, your money mindset expert. Welcome, my loves. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings upon you all. Now, it's your girl, Gull Khan. I haven't spoken for a while. I've not done one of these for a bit, but I'm back here again now. So we are back on this journey with Money Mindset with Gull Khan. So I am your energy healer, your spiritual guide, your BFF when it comes to journey of abundance and faith. Today, we're talking about trusting the process. We're going to deep dive into something that's really, really powerful, something that feels quite difficult at the moment right now, but it's absolutely essential, especially in the chaos that we are living in through at the moment. So, today's episode is called Trust the Process, even when the world is falling apart, right? So, let's start with the chaos of the world. What's going on? Okay. Now, let's take a moment and be very, very honest. We are living through some of the most difficult times in history at the moment. We are living through wild times. I don't need to tell you this, you know this yourself, you can feel it. Wars still raging like Ukraine and Gaza. We have global economic instability. We have trade tariffs coming back with, Trump back in the office, his return to the political stage, which is chaotic to say the least. I mean, all of that is putting pressure on the market, on businesses globally, by the way, because we in the UK have felt the impact of his tariff wars with China and the rest of the world, to be honest. So, and especially on jobs as well. And for many of us, especially if you're running your own business like myself, or even trying to build wealth, or even just trying to get by, it can really, really feel like the ground is shaking beneath your feet, like things are just really falling apart and you don't know which way to turn because everything you hear is, all doom and gloom, right? So I do. I felt it too. And I'm not oblivious to it. I am fully aware of what's going on in the economic world. And but I want you to understand something, and this is why I'm here today. I'm here today to remind you that you were not made for easy roads. You were made for greatness. Let me repeat that for you. You were not made for easy roads. You were made for greatness. And that means you need to learn to trust the process. Something that I always say, things happen for you, not to you. And I think you really need to embody that statement in today's climate more than anything else, right? So hence today's podcast episodes on this, right? So what does trust the process actually mean? What does it mean? Well, let's break it down. To trust the process doesn't mean to ignore reality. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm not oblivious to what's going on around me, okay? It doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine, that even when you're struggling to pay the bills or when your investment takes a dip, like mine has recently. No, my love, it's nothing of the sort, right? Trusting the process means that you believe that your current situation is not your final destination. Okay, it means that deep in knowing deep in your bones, in your root, in the atoms of your being, that the universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, source, divine source energy, has brought you this far, not to bring you this far. It's not brought you this far to abandon you right now. It's not brought you this far to just bring you this far, right? There's more to it. There's more to your life. There has to be more to this whole process, okay? There's a beautiful metaphor, and I want to share this with you, which is a bird doesn't trust the branch it sits on. And this is a metaphor that I live by all my life, okay? So a bird doesn't trust the branch it sits on. Why? Okay, because the bird trusts its wings. She trusts her wings because she knows that if the branch breaks, she can fly, right? She has the ability to fly, so she can fly, right? My love, You are that bird, right? The world economy as it is at the moment, so the world economic state and the economy as we know it is it is that branch. It's shaky, it's rocky, it's scary, yes, and it may snap. It may do. I'm not denying that. But you got wings. You have the ability to fly. You have wings of courage, of wisdom, of experience, of faith, and a connection with the divine source energy. And this connection, this faith will get you through this. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. So that means that leads into the point economic storms. But what do I do, Gull? There's economic storms. There are economic storms, but there is still abundance that flows through it. Abundance is still here. Let me make it clear. So let's look at what's really happening in the world out there at the moment. With Trump's proposed tariff wars and businesses are facing uncertainty, mine included. Okay, so not just obviously I'm not in coaching at the moment as much in my other businesses, which are brick and mortar and are more to do with manufacturing at the moment, right? And there's a lot of uncertainty, and costs are rising, supply chains are shifting. The war in Ukraine has global ripple effects from food prices to energy prices to even we've had issues because we're in steel manufacturing, so we are not allowed to buy steel from Russia. Okay, so we personally have been impacted by that. So we had to declare that we're not getting our steel from Russia. We are getting it from local, from Europe and UK and Europe. Okay, but here's something more important that you need to hear. Abundance does not disappear in recession or in dark times. It just moves. Does it make sense? The money is still there. Opportunities are still there, but they're flowing differently. They're flowing from those who are aligned, who are open, who are anchored in faith, especially faith, okay, and not fear. So people who are anchored in faith, not fear, are finding these opportunities and are aligning themselves with abundance. And this is key. This is key. So the spiritual mindset of wealth in uncertainty, how do we achieve that? This is a question that gets asked a lot. And I just recently was on another podcast, and this question was asked, well, how do we achieve this spiritual mindset of wealth in uncertainty? Great question. Let me remind you of a divine principle, okay? That God is the best of providers. Okay, this is something that we have both in the Old Testament, the New Testament, and it's ingrained in every element of the Islamic scriptures, right? In the Quran itself. Your abundance comes from divine source energy, comes from God. God is the one who provides to you. Yes, the channels may change. It may be through one business, through your partner, maybe through inheritance, and maybe through some other, maybe through a job that you do, or whatever it could be. The channels can change, but the source remains the same, which is universal energy, which is the divine source energy, which in my language is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? In your language could be God or whatever the deity you call it, right? It's not your job, it's not the government, it's not the stock market, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God knows, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the universe, whatever name you want to give to it, right? Whatever name you are happy with, is your true provider. When you begin to live and act from that belief, you step into financial sovereignty, right? Because here's what I've learned. And I've seen this with my clients and my own life. So, by the way, everything I teach you, remember, I've lived my life through it, including the process I'm teaching you right now, which is, I'm applying these principles to my business as well, my brick and mortar business as well. It's that the God is the one who's guiding you through it, okay? The financial sovereignty lies with God, right? Because here's what you need to know. When you align with your purpose, when you act with integrity, when you stay open and generous and in motion, provision shows up for you in the most unexpected ways. Okay, a new client, a new property deal, a new connection, divine nudge in your intuition that changes your whole life. It could be anything, right? It could be absolutely anything. But you can only receive those things when you're open to it. When you stay open and you trust the process, you align yourself with these opportunities, and therefore you're able to become aware of them. If you are so dogged into, oh, this is going wrong and that's going wrong, you don't even see these opportunities coming towards you, let alone take advantage of them. Okay, this is key. So I want to share a personal story with you when I had to trust the process. And I've had to trust the process a number of times. Just because I understand money and I have a fantastic relationship with money doesn't mean I'm immune to this kind of economic turmoil, right? That's the word I can use. It doesn't mean I'm immune for it. Far from it. I always believe the stronger the player, the stronger the hardships come, in terms of the stronger the player, the stronger the ability that the individual has to deal with certain things, the more issues are brought to them. So the harder the game, right? The stronger the player, the harder the game. That's pretty much the process. And God, works in strange ways and does things like that as well. So, but every single time I've had these issues. So, you know, I'll share a story that happened years ago, which was probably the hardest time of my life, many, many moons ago. I faced a moment when I was still building my relationship with money. And at that moment, everything around me seemed to just crumble. I was going through divorce, I was going through a legal battle. My ex-husband was not providing for financially at all. He refused, he didn't give me anything. So literally pulled the financial rug under my feet, literally, and he was emotionally blackmailing me, financially blackmailing me to accept his girlfriend to become his second wife. So for me to be in a polygamous marriage. Um, there were painful family challenges because of that, because my children were no longer seeing the dad. We had lots of turmoil. I was going through a second divorce, so there's a lot of stigma attached to that as well. I had a lot of family issues to deal with. And on top of that, I was building my business in a world that kept throwing curveballs at me, right? I remember one morning sitting in my room, crying my eyes out. And when I was desperately trying to build a business rather than going back into employment, because I chose to open a business so I can work around my children, my motivation was less money at the time, so that I could be around my kids. I never in a million years thought I could build the kind of business that I have, working from home. At that time, it was just about being around my children. And I really felt that I had to go out and get a job. I wasn't able to run a business, or it wasn't for me. And then maybe it's not meant to be for me. This isn't for me, and maybe I'm just fooling myself. I remember that clearly. I remember clearly going through that period. But I remember that metaphor that I've shared with you just now, the bird and the branch. And I said to myself quite clearly, I remember, the world may feel like it's broken right now, but I'm not broken. God is still with me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still with me. My wings still work. I can fly. And you know what? I kept showing up. I kept serving. I kept praying. Praying is key here, by the way. I kept believing in God and in myself. And bit by bit, little by little, a drop at a time, my whole life transformed. And that's why I'm here today, to remind you that your wings still work too. Okay. So the next question is, well, Gull, do you have any action steps for me? Remember, I'm a very practical girl. I'm spiritually, how do I say this? I am spiritually invested, but I'm grounded in the physical world. Therefore, I always have practical steps for you. So let's go through the action steps, anchoring in trust daily, because you have to build this muscle of yours. It's a muscle that you have to build. When you trust the process, you trust divine source energy, you trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you trust God, you trust universal energy to guide you through this phase of your life. Okay? So, okay, my love. Now let's make it practical, right? So here are the 5 things to do daily to anchor your trust. Okay, to anchor yourself in trust, I should say. Right. So first thing, start your day with a gratitude. So this is, everyone talks about it, and I'm no different from that. This is just, it's beautiful. In the Bible, it says those who are grateful will have more, right? So, and in the Quran as well, it clearly says, if you are grateful for what I've provided for you, I will provide more. I'm paraphrasing it, but pretty much this is one of the essence of one of the verses in the Quran. It really means that the more you trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you are grateful for the blessings He's bestowed upon you, the more blessings will show up for you, right? So even in chaos, you need to be able to find at least 5 things you can be grateful for. It could be health, your family, the food on your table, the roof over your head, the car you drive, anything, right? I've just listed a whole number of things, even on just in the spur of the moment. I can list you 20 more, I promise you, without thinking, very hard. Everything, like even being able to breathe, being able to go to the bathroom, being able to have the amenities that we do, right? The fact that I've got light here, the fact that I'm recording right now, the fact that you're listening to me right now, okay? All of these. You should list at least 5 things very quickly that you're grateful for every single day. The reason this is so important, because not only does it energetically change how you feel and look upon life, it rewires your brain. It's working on the psychology. You start looking for things that you're grateful for. The more you focus on the good things, the more your brain gets trained and programmed to look for positive things, right? And looks for possibilities as well. Right. Number 2, speak divine affirmations. Right. So this one is something that is, I think, misunderstood a lot, right? I do believe in affirmations, but I think you need to come from element of faith. So try this one. I'm divinely guided and protected. What is meant for me is already on its way. So you're not saying I'm a millionaire. You're just saying what's meant to be is coming to me. It'll find me. It's coming to me. Right? That kind of attitude is positive expectation. You're not lying to yourself. You're just making sure that your subconscious mind has a positive expectation of good that's coming your way, which is coming your way, right? It's just a matter of time, right? So, number 3, this is also key. A lot of people get stuck in number 2. They say these positive affirmations or even divine affirmations, but then they don't take action. We live in a physical world, right? We need to have physical things. We want to have physical money, not just spiritual money. So we want to be connecting to money spiritually, but we want it to show up in our 3D world. How will it happen if you don't take any physical action? It doesn't work that way. So you take action. But here's the point. You can't be busy bee, right? You can't be unproductive. You need to take aligned action. So you take one aligned action every single day. So even if it's small, send out that email, make that phone call, post that content. Energy moves with action. So you need to take aligned action. Whatever you feel, pulled towards, whatever that may be, right? But take action every single day in the direction of your goals. Okay. Number 4. This is something that I learned years ago, which is limit your exposure to fear-based media. Now, I don't listen to the news. I don't read any newspapers. I don't know anything. Okay. I'm not saying not be informed, not at all. So you stay informed, but don't get drowned in the drama. Just don't. Just stop. Right? Feed your faith, not your fear. Key here. Okay. And number 5, visualize your future self, right? See yourself as thriving, even in tough economy, because your reality starts with your inner vision. You need to see yourself as successful. You need to see yourself as taken care of. You need to see yourself flying with your healthy, beautiful wings, right? That's key. You need to see yourself as this amazing being who can thrive in any economy. Okay. So, final message, which is you were born for this. Now, I want to close with this, that you're not here by accident. You're not listening to this message by accident. I really believe that universe talks to us through different mediums, whatever medium we listen to. We could be reading a book, we could be looking at an Instagram reel, we could be listening to a podcast. Whatever medium we have exposed ourselves, the universe will find the correct, the perfect medium for you to get the message to you. So if you're listening to me right now, this message was meant to find you, right? So you're not here by accident. You were born for this time specifically. You have the strength, the resilience, the divine connection to rise above this season. Yes, the world feels uncertain. Yes, the economy is shifting, but you are like the bird with the wings. You're not the branch. So trust the process, trust your wings, trust your Lord, trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, trust God, and above all, trust yourself. Because when you do, nothing, absolutely nothing can shake you. No Trump, no tariffs, no global conflict, nothing. So, my lovelies, that's it for today. If this episode has touched you, has touched your heart, please do share it with a friend who you think may need to hear it and needs to hear it. Leave a review for me. I would appreciate that. I do love reading your reviews and they mean so much to me. And remember, wealth is your birthright. And faith is your greatest asset. That's so important. I'm going to repeat it. Love and wealth. I'm going to add that in. Love and wealth are your birthright, and faith is your greatest asset. Until the next time, Money Mindset and Gull Khan, I'm signing off. I am so excited to be speaking to you guys again. I promise to come here more often and not leave such a big gap between us having this wonderful conversation. Until the next time, I'm going to leave you with love and light and unlimited abundance. Many, many blessings.